Good morning and welcome to the celebration of Mystery Unfolding in Time. Today, the October 4th, the great day for the Franciscan family, we commemorate the transition of our Seraphic Father Saint Francis of Assisi from this life to the afterlife. We Franciscans around the world honor the stigmata Saint Francis received, known as the impression of the stigmata of Saint Francis. On this great day, I wish you all a very happy feast. It's Golden Jubilee celebration time. We have gathered here to remember, to celebrate and give thanks for our jubilarians, Sister Caroline, Sister Cecily, Sister Jaya, Sister Kiran, Sister Manorama, Sister Jean, Sister Nancy, Sister Nivedita, and Sister Prema. Congratulations to you, dear jubilarians, on your commitment and witness over these 50 years as a Holy Cross sister. On behalf of Holy Cross family, your families and friends, and all of us present here, I offer you our deep gratitude for the gift of your precious lives shared with us. What an honor it is for us to celebrate a jubilee with 9 of you. Can you believe we are celebrating 50 years of your commitment? There is a special aura of happiness that seems to permeate our hall today. We truly experience mystery unfolding in time. I sense that our founders, as well as our sisters and family members who preceded us in death, have joined with us today. Together, we all give thanks and glory to the God of mystery for the gift of these 9 sisters. Kierkegaard, a philosopher, theologian, poet and religious author, once noted that life must be lived forward but understood backward. This is a great perspective for a Jubilee celebration. When you take a long view and look back over these 50 years, there is undoubtedly much you understand today that was complete mystery to you the day you responded to your experienced sense of vocational call to join the Sisters of Mercy of the Holy Cross. Much has happened since that date of your first profession. Here we are today, immersed in this great mystery of 50 years. Dear jubilarians, you are prophetic witnesses standing in our midst. You are the women of mercy of the Holy Cross. You are both witnesses and participants in this great unfolding mystery of call. Your lives have been an inspiration to others. You have done ordinary things with extraordinary love, patience, gentleness, and competence in living the spirit of Jesus, our Seraphic Father Saint Francis of Assisi, and our beloved founders in so many different ways over these 50 years. We are remembering years and months and days of commitment in response to the growth of seeds sown in time as a part of the unfolding mystery of your call to discipleship. Now, I invite you all to view the mystery unfolding, a short life sketches of our 9 jubilarians displayed before us.
Sister Caroline T. Joseph. Catherine Joseph, you were born on October 12, 1950 at Tikoi, Pala Diocese of Kerala. You are the youngest child among the 9 children born to your parents. You were born in a good middle-class family and brought up in the ambience of deep faith and prayer, where the values of honesty, generosity, and integrity had its due importance. The first inspiration for your religious vocation was your father, a man of deep faith and commitment. His active participation in the church activities, great respect and love for priests and religious was admirable. Your desire to be a religious emerged in early ages, and it was matured by the promptings of your father and the conducive atmosphere in the family, school, and the parish. After the completion of SSLC, you decided to be a missionary in North India, though the local Clarist sisters coaxed you to join their congregation. On informing your decision to go to the convent in the north was a shock to your mother and brother, but no hurdle could stop you to follow your dreams. You left your home on June 16, 1967 to be a missionary along with 18 young aspirants. As a new candidate, you were sent to Bethia, then few months to Berlin. You took your first vows on December 20th, 1971. After profession, you were sent for higher secondary studies and graduation in Ambikapur in 1972. After that, you joined Koji Holy Family Hospital, Patna in 1974 for nursing studies. Later, you did BSc Nursing, Diploma in Nursing Education and Administration, and MSc Nursing. In 1999, you were invited by St. John's Medical College Hospital, Bangalore, to take up the charge as Nursing Superintendent for 4 years term, during which you completed your MPhil. Sister Caroline, you rendered your services in the mission of healthcare and nursing education in various capacities at different places such as Tripolia, Trasi, Holy Cross Hospital at Kunkuri, and in College of Nursing at Ambikapur. You pioneered College of Nursing at Ambikapur in 2003 and served as the principal till 2017. At present, you minister your service in the province as Provincial Councillor, Professor in Holy Cross College of Nursing, and Superior of Holy Cross Hospital Convent, Ambikapur. You have responded to the cries of the poor in the health ministry and have responded to the witness, the presence of Jesus in your outreach to the sick in the hospitals and to educate young girls in nursing education. You have shared your gift of life with the congregation, church, and the society at large in so many ways. You are a person who seeks out the thoughts and opinions of others, enjoys working in a team. You possess gentleness in dealing with others and enjoy tranquility. You are a visionary leader, a great communicator, and as a well-organizer, you mobilize the team to work towards your vision. You know how to navigate challenges and push through them, keeping the team on course by leading with a never-give-up attitude, no matter how tough things get. Respect and honor to the authorities are key ingredients that we visibly observe in dealing with you. As one anointed and sent to bring the good news to people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Vakkakadu village in Kottayam district of Kerala state inhabited a family of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Annamma. On November 28, 1950, baby girl Lily was born in Valiplakkal house, who later known as Sister Cicely. Sister Cicely, your parents were blessed with 8 children, 3 boys and 5 girls. You positioned 6th among your siblings. Your father, being a simple farmer, he inculcated in in the children the love for God and provided an atmosphere to grow in holiness. But you were still young. Three of your older sisters were already in convents to be missionaries. Thus, the seed of vocation grew from your family. Another significant inspiration was from a Christian magazine called Prashita Kerala, highlighting the heroic work of missionaries of Kerala in North India. You completed your matriculation in the year 1967, and on June 22nd, the same year, you moved to Hazaribagh to join Holy Cross Sisters. Initially, you learned the language. Thereafter, you were sent to Bethia as a candidate for home science. In 1969, you were called to postulancy and novitiate and pronounced your first vows on December 20, 1971. Ever since your first profession, you were assigned with home administration, supervision of building, physiotherapy, farm and garden, and animal husbandry, and at present you are in Holy Cross Hospital Community at Ambikapur as physiotherapist and in charge of the farm and garden. There are no works restricted for you. Thus, you were fit in all walks of works assigned. You were designated in larger communities of the province such as Tripolia Hospital, Bethia, Badwan Compound Ranchi, Prabhat Tara Muzaffarpur, Bokaro, Kalyan Hospital, Training Center Hazaribagh, VTI Hazaribagh, and Holy Cross Hospital Community at Ambikapur. You were sent for a short course in alternative treatment in Holistic Center at Pune with Medical Mission Sisters. Through your holistic approach, physiotherapy, acupressure, loving and empathetic heart, you have touched many lives and continue to be a blessing today. All were privileged to get your service in managing the mess, building supervision, physiotherapy, and taking care of your animals, farm and garden. A true daughter of St. Francis of Assisi, you dedicated your entire life around the garden, animals, and of course, sisters in the community. Tranquility involves keeping your mind and heart calm. You take your time to perceive what's going on and act purposefully, without agitation, without hurry, and without overreacting. Your life is so well disciplined that you almost relish every second of your life well utilized. Your life is characterized by taking pains and troubles for others. Sensible, careful, wise, prudent, and practical in life matters define your life. You are sincere in your dealing, approachable and honest. Your dim vision is not really a blockade to be a visionary, imaginative and perspective. Rather, this differentiates you from the rest. That you not only have plenty of ideas, but also commit to carry them out with your sixth sense. You have been placed in Holy Cross Hospital, Ambikapur since 2004. And since then, effortlessly, you put your entire energy to your assigned mission. We appreciate you for your true self, generosity, readiness, and dedication for the cause of province and congregation. We salute you for what you are today. Sister Cicely, you are a beacon of commitment and dedication. You value the truth and justice. You are a model for all of us to live a simple, happy, and contented religious life. As the Golden Jubilee bell rings, we raise our hearts to the Almighty God for the 50 years of your dedicated and committed life in Holy Cross family. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained.
Mr. J. Thomas, you were born on March 5, 1948, in a middle-class devout Catholic family of late Mr. Thomas and Mariam in Kolvanal, district Kottayam in Kerala. You were baptized with the beautiful name Rosamma. You are the youngest among your 6 sisters. You had your schooling with the Claris sisters and Carmelite sisters respectively. In 1967, you passed your SSLC. Your close association with the Clarist and Carmel sisters had a great impact on you, which inspired and motivated you to choose religious life. While attending a vocation retreat at Bharaningyanam, thereafter you met Sister Letitia in Palai and Vocation Bureau and gathered the information about the Holy Cross sisters. You travelled to Hazaribagh with the Sister Letitia and 18 other girls and reached to Hazaribagh on June 30, 1967. After 2 years of candidacy, you were called for postulancy and novitiate and took your first vows on December 20, 1971. After your first promotion, you were sent to Holy Cross Women's College, Ambikapur for graduation. After your graduation, you were transferred to Prabhakara School, Muzaffarpur in 1975, and after a year, you were sent for B.Ed in Baroda between 1978 and 1990. You worked in Holy Cross School at Kalyan for 8 years and 4 years in Ambikapur. Subsequently, in 1990, you went back to Kalyan for another 2 years, and in 1992, you were transferred to Devarshala for 1 year. In 1993, you were transferred back to Ambikapur and taught in Hindi medium school till your retirement in 2013. The next following years, you were in Bilaspur and Bhopal for a short time. In 2014, you were asked to join back Holy Cross School at Ambikapur Hindi medium, and today you continue to teach in Ambikapur. Sister Jaya, you have been invited to share your gifts as teacher in the congregation, church, and society at large. You chose one of the noblest professions anyone can opt for. You are very knowledgeable and have been very dedicated, and you gladly pour out your knowledge for the better education of students. As an effective and efficient teacher, you work in constantly evolving environment and adjust the teaching methods based on the capacity of your students. You are a person very observant, attentive, empathetic, and possess a positive attitude towards life. We believe that being a teacher is a very special gift, and those that have that gift make a positive, lasting impression on the lives of their students that can totally change the trajectory of their lives. We are sure you have touched thousands of people. Many of our young sisters were privileged to be your students. You are well accepted and appreciated by your students and teachers as you associate with. You are intelligent, are not easily swayed by outside influences, and would only engage in activities that are connected to your life and growth. You know how to manage your emotions and fight off your impulses, things that rarely harm you. You are pleasant, gentle, serene, and mild in speaking. To your colleagues and subordinates alike, you are considerate and tolerant. You are unassuming, trustworthy in the smallest detail, accurate and comprehensive in thought, energetic and conscientious in action. You possess the virtue of humility, that you are least bothered about your being noticed and praised. You are not critical or judgmental. You accept that other people have right to understand who you are, aware of your expectations, constantly renew your commitment to gratitude. As one anointed and sent to bring the good news to the people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Kiran Tirki, you were born on August 21st, 1946 and were given the name Francisca in your baptism. Your parents lived in the village Singhu under Jainpur Parish in Gumla Diocese, Jharkhand. After your birth, you were seriously ill, hence your grandfather, who was a catechist, baptized you. Your father was a carpenter. At the invitation of the parish priest in Assam, your father moved with the whole family to work there. At that time, you were an infant of only 4 months old. You lost your mother when you were just a toddler of 1.5 years old. When you were 2 years of age, you were brought to Jainpur and left with your grandmother. Your father married for the second time, and you got your 7 siblings from your stepmother, 6 boys and 1 girl. Later years, your parents moved to Namnakala, Vikapu. You remained with your grandmother in Jainpur. The initial schooling was done in village school, and later you moved to Ursuline School, Gumla, for your higher studies. Your youngest aunt loved you very much. Later she joined the Daughters of St. Anne, Ranchi. You often heard from your aunt that when she becomes a nun, she will become the Prabhu Ki Dulhan, the bride of Christ. It had a great impact in your young mind. Thus, the seed of vocation was sown at home and grew stronger day after day. You passed your matric exam in 1967, and the same year, you joined Holy Cross congregation at Hazaribagh. In 1967, as a candidate, you were privileged to go to Mother House, Ingenborg, Switzerland, to pursue your nurse's training. After the formation in 1968, you joined postulancy and entered into novitiate in the following year. You made your first progression in 1971 in Switzerland. You were named as Sister Kiran Tirki. You became a Dulhan of Christ, unlike your aunt. After profession, you worked in Basel Hospital at Switzerland and continued general nursing. You did geriatric nursing as well. Then you worked in Kranken House in Switzerland for a year. In 1975, you went back to India and joined Tripolia Hospital, Patna, for 1 year. Thereafter, you were transferred to Kalyan to open a home for the aged in 1977 and remained there for 4 years. You accompanied Sister Johanna as a pioneer in this mission. After your final vows, you were transferred to Nanbaj. From 1982 to 1984, you did your general nursing in St. Luke's Hospital, Sri Rampur, in Medical Mission Sisters Hospital, followed by training in midwifery at St. Elizabeth's Nursing Home, Malabar Hill, in Bombay. Since 1984 to 2021, you gave your services in nursing profession at health care centers of many communities, Nambat, Mercies, Katukona, Kuarmunda, Kundkuri, Omra, Mainpat, and at present you are ministering in Koleng community. You are well equipped as a nurse and functioned as the superior of the various communities. As a nurse, your caring nature makes all the difference to the patients. You proved yourself as a very good bedside nurse. As one of the leading qualities of a nurse, you are good at TLC, tender loving care. Your real life struggle and experiences were the best teacher, and you were a good student to acquire and assimilate for life ahead. Your enduring capacity is remarkable. Your life experiences have instilled in the inner depth in you. Your good sympathetic heart makes you a good listener to others' problems and express sympathy. You are a hard-working person, possess simplicity. We admire your adjustability and willingness to do anything. You are quick to find solutions to every problem. As one anointed and sent to bring the good news to people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Manorama Lakna, you were born on October 21st, 1938 at Bamhanpura, Potenga in Jashpur district, Chhattisgarh. You were baptized as Dominica. You are the seventh child of your parents. Your family was deeply rooted in Christian faith. You did your primary schooling in village school and moved to Goleng for middle and high school. In 1957, the arrival of Holy Cross Sisters in Goleng brought much joy to you. After completing your studies, to support your family financially, you willingly took up teaching job in the village school with a meager salary of Rs 30. In 1966, BTI training started in Goleng and you did the training. While doing the training, you were inspired to join the congregation. You were helped by Sister Bridget and Sister Rosalind to recognize your vocation. You joined Holy Cross Sisters in Hazaribagh as an aspirant in 1968. After your initial trainings in formation, you pronounced your first vows on December 20th, 1971. Your first appointment was in Mahuadan for the pastoral work for 6 months. Later on, you joined in middle school for teaching. You then were back to Hazaribagh to do the pastoral work. In 1976, you joined Father Hans S.J. and the team for the Santal mission in Kuju. There you rendered your service for 7 years. In 1983, you were transferred back to Mahuadan to teach in the school and take care of the hostel for 6 years. The years between 1990 to 2003, you were in Patparia Ambikapur, both as a teacher and a hostel warden. Again, you were transferred to Patalgaon in 2003 and served as hostel warden till 2016. You took a break for 1 year in 2018 and were later transferred to Pasan community. Since then, you are an active member in Pasan, making the Word of God alive and active among the people through your big and small contribution in the community, garden and parish. There is nothing more appealing to others than to be in the presence of a loving person like you, Sister Manorama. You know how to give endless love to all who associate with you. For you, love is a verb and it expresses itself through loving kindness, touch, your smile, and sense of inner joy and vitality. We may not be wrong to say You acquire a large heart that is able to accommodate all. You are a ray of sunshine, warm, kind, bright, someone who is a delight to be around. You, a hard-working person, always willing to learn and always looking for new ways to grow within the community and among the sisters. You are accountable and reliable to the given tasks with a full efforts to the responsibility. You value your work and respect every person you interact. Your life is an example of humility with self-efficacious. You just don't feel the impetus to boast about yourselves, but instead your action speaks for your principles. It is true, to be humble is not to think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. As a hostel warden, you made the hostel for the girls a home away from home. You are a great disciplinarian, new age girl by name. You left no stone unturned to bring the best out of them. You appreciate your life and feel a sense of fulfillment that keeps you faithful. Sister Manorama, you are a beacon of commitment and dedication. You value the truth and justice. You are a model for all of us to live a simple, happy and contented religious life. As the Golden Jubilee bell rings, we raise our hearts to the Almighty God for the 50 years of your dedicated and committed life in Holy Cross family. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Jean Kipuram. Sister Jean, you were born on December 13, 1944 at Vayala in district of Kottayam, Kerala. You, the little angel, were baptized as Agnes. You were much loved by your 5 brothers and 4 sisters elder to you. Your parents brought up the children in good faith and instilled the fear of God in you all. The family experienced the loss of dear mother when you were only 2 years old, yet you had a very happy childhood. As a child, you were much interested in reading the books, especially biographies of saints like Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Clare, Saint Agnes, and Saint Maria Goretti. Their life inspired you a lot. Your 3 elder brothers chose the priesthood, and one of them was the late Symphorian Kiprath, the Bishop of Jalandhar, a great missionary indeed. In March 1962, after passing the SSLC, you went for general nursing course at Holy Family Hospital, Madar, Jharkhand, run by Medical Mission Sisters. You had a great desire to serve the suffering for the glory of God. There was also a tiny desire to join any religious congregation. In April 1966, you passed the general nursing examination and worked as staff nurse for 3 months. Same year, you left for Bandra, Mumbai to study midwifery, and after completing the training, worked in the same hospital for 8 months. After completing all your studies in Bombay, a proposal for your marriage was stepping in, though it was a bit difficult to choose the way of life. But by the grace and strength of God, you had the courage to resist the proposal. In March 1968, you came to Holy Cross Hospital, Guruguri, and worked there for 2 months. Your priest brother, late Father Abraham and Tiger Diocese, played a vital role in choosing your vocation to religious life. While being there, you received a call to join the Holy Cross congregation at Hazaribagh. It seemed your dream being fulfilled. You went to Hazaribagh on May 4, 1968. Certainly, you chose to be the bride of Christ, the Master whom you truly wanted to serve. After the initial formation in the congregation, you were promoted to postulancy and novitiate. You made your first vows on December 28, 1971 and final vows on September 14, 1977. During your active ministry, you were appointed at various capacities at different hospital communities at Kulkuri, Ambikapur, Kalyan, Tripolia Hospital at Patna. You ministered as a nursing tutor, administrator, superior of the community. At present, you are in Holy Cross Hospital, Ambikapur. You have a friendly attitude as one of the most essential qualities. As a young nursing tutor, expressing a friendly attitude towards your students made you more approachable. Your warmth overflows to others happily and willingly. You fully embrace who they are as flawed beings and worth of love and affection just as they are. Your mere presence inspires others to delve into their inner being. You are so thankful and show gratitude for the simple things that others do for you. You effortlessly attract good people and opportunities in your life. You are an efficient teacher and have comforted those who were sick in the hospital. Sister Jean, you are a beacon of commitment and dedication. You value the truth and justice. As the Golden Jubilee bell rings, we raise our hearts to the Almighty God for the 50 years of your dedicated and committed life in Holy Cross family. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Nancy Kalukalam. In the family of Mr. Kuryachan and Mrs. Mariama, Changanasheri, Kerala, a baby girl, Valsamma, was born on May 13, 1950. Sister Nancy, it was you, a girl with bright eyes. You are blessed to have your 4 siblings and you positioned second among them. The ambience of your family was very conducive and enriching. You had a very happy family. Parents were very simple, loving, hardworking and prayerful. The evening prayer was compulsory and all had to be present. When you were at home, to attend daily mass was compulsory. If you didn't get up, a mug of water was sure on your head. You always thought of a missionary life. So, after your 10th class, you expressed your wish to your parents. Reluctantly, they agreed, saying, if you wanted to become a sister, join somewhere in Kerala, not so far. But at last, because of your insistence, they agreed and you were permitted. Your dream of becoming a missionary seemed coming true with your first step in Holy Cross Institute, Hazaribagh in 1966. The intensity to be a nun was too great in you that you wanted to become a sister soon, so you didn't want to go for any studies, rather agreed to go for shortest course. So you were sent to Betia for home science, followed by a year in Tripolia. The day finally arrived on December 20, 1971, when you made your first profession. The next day of your first profession, you were sent to Tripolia and then to Kungri, followed by Holy Cross Institute, Hazaribagh, for a term of 7 years. Your next move was to Sitagara for another 7 years with Bedima, Sister Clotilde, and had a gala time. Subsequently, you were sent to Holy Cross Convent, Burdwan Compound, Ranchi for another 7 years. You completed your graduation from IGNOU while you were in Ranchi. Apart from this, you were asked to render your service at Sadhana Institute at Lonavala as administrator. From Lonavala, you marched to Holy Cross Convent Indore, Civil Lines, Raipur, to supervise the construction work. Initially for 1 year at Raipur, you stayed at Paloti Ashram, Kapa. The next assignment was to Jamshedpur, to Holy Cross Hospital, Ambikapur, Tampeshwara and Rajasthan to supervise building works. In Tampeshwara, you lived a real-life missionary with no house. You stayed in the boys' hostel of Capuchin friars. You managed a life with minimum. The next move was to training center Hazaribagh, Mangala, Bilaspur. You supervised the construction work in Lalkadan and also supervised the renovation work of village communities at Jaria, Badakorancha, Main Park, Morga, Belgana, etc. Your next journey was to Provincial House, Raipur, to supervise. At present, you are in Ashani Kunj, Ambikapur for the supervision of the construction of the school building. In most of the communities, you served as superior. The line goes, each of us is carving a stone, erecting a column, or cutting a piece of stained glass in the construction of something much bigger than ourselves. In your case, you are called to dedicate your whole life to construct something better, where a Holy Cross Sister Nancy, you are an amazing personality, a person of adaptability, adventurous in all circumstances, resourceful, industrious in an extremely skillful and creative. Industrious and an extremely skillful and creative. You are passionate towards the assigned task. Diligence is the core that just for a while seems wasting your time. Pertaining to or characterized by energy or effective action. You are vigorously active and energetic. You lead an efficient and well-organized life. Generous and kind heart moves out in the act of kindness to the needy. You are marked by an ability to think quickly, mentally alert, constant in effort to accomplish something, attentive and persistent in doing anything, a keen observer, a voracious reader. You happily share your bounty. Those who live in your close proximity do understand how loving you are. As one anointed and sent to bring good news to people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Nivedita, in a family at Vijay, Mangalore, Karnataka, you, Eleonora, were born on 22nd February 1948 after 3 male children. With great joy, the parents brought you up. In Mangalore, it was the custom at that time the day's patron saint's name was given to the child. As on 22nd, the chair of St. Peter is celebrated, they baptize you with the previous day's saint. You, as a tiny girl, started to go to school at the age of 5. You finished elementary schooling in your own parish, run by the Mangalore Ursuline Sisters, and for the middle and high school, you went to Apostolic Carmel School. After higher secondary school, you did your secretarial course. As you wanted to be a missionary in 1967, you joined Sisters of Mercy of Holy Cross, Hazaribagh. The family members advised you to join any local congregation, but you chose to be a missionary in North. After a year of candidacy in 1968, you were sent to Mother House, Switzerland to do the novitiate. You learned German language while working in old age home, children's home and hospital. On 9th September 1971, with much joy you offered yourself to God and to the congregation. As you were preparing to go for nursing, the superiors asked you to go for commercial training. Though it was hard for you to change your mind, you accepted the decision of the superiors. You completed the training in 3 years at Switzerland and came back to India in 1975 with great joy and enthusiasm to serve the church, congregation and the people of India. At your arrival, you were given the responsibility as a secretary to the provincial and the treasurer of the province. Happily, you did this and also supervised the garage cum workshop where repair of different vehicles and some fabrication work was done. In Vidya, you taught typing and shorthand. In 1981 January, you were transferred to Holy Ghost Hospital, Ambikapur as an accountant. After 2 years of working as an accountant, as you were interested in social work, you went to Nagarundari to do socio-pastoral work and later on in Barua. From here, you were sent to Bangalore, as the congregation wanted someone who could speak Kannada language for the official work. After 1 year, you were placed as superior of Nirmarga. In Nirmarga, you did building supervision of her school. You happily did it. From there, you were sent to Siliguri to do the accounts. You were happy to learn Bengali and Sadri, the languages talked by the local people. Then you were transferred to Nanbat Vasai for some time. From Nanbat, you came to Holy Ghost Hospital, Ambikapur. This time you rendered your most active phase of your ministry in community health department of the hospital for 5 years. From here you moved to Kumarkunda to teach in secretarial course in collaboration with Salesians. You took up the responsibility gladly. The next assignment was to Catholic Charities Jamshedpur Diocese Social Center as the secretary for 3 years. From there, you were transferred to Kurkunda to take up the accounts of the society. Later on, you came back to Holy Ghost Hospital, Ambikapur as an accountant and worked there for 4 years and then to Holy Ghost Hospital, Kurkuri. The longest 11 years you spent in Kurkuri doing not only the office work but the farm and the garden and visiting the patients in the hospital and the parishioners. You also served in your community as an accountant. You were actively involved in parish ministry at Ambikapur. At the request of the National Office for an Accountant, you joined the National Office of Parish Ministry at Bangalore for 1 year. After that, you attended the scripture course and was transferred to Barakarunja in June 2019. At present, you are actively involved in bringing the God's kingdom in Asha Nikunj, Ambikapur. You are an extroverted person who enjoys engaging with other people. You love being original and being unique. More so, you don't aim at pleasing others. It makes you appreciate who you are and be confident in yourself. You are down to earth, believe in having material minimum, satisfied with what Christ offers. You are simple, frank, gentle, but direct in the being of who you are. You are a straightforward person You don't take things personally. You tell people what they don't want to hear. You are not afraid to hurt people's feelings, to help them if it is for their own good. As an accountant, you are honest and accurate. Wherever you were placed, you enjoyed visiting the families of workers and considered it as your prime mission. As one commanded and sent to bring the good news to people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained you.
Sister Prema Ekka. On April 27, 1940, in a village called Jeria in Jaspur district of Chhattisgarh, a couple named Mr. Raphael Ekka and Mrs. Mariam Ekka were blessed with a tiny girl Philomena, later known as Prema. It was you, dear Sister Prema. You were the fourth among the 7 children born to your parents. Your parents were simple and faithful Christians. They had the great desire to educate all the children. Your family was a very happy family. You began your schooling in Holy Cross School, Kolane, and in close proximity with the Holy Cross sisters, your Christian faith grew in you. You had a great desire to join the Holy Cross congregation, but due to your poor health, you could not do so. Meanwhile, you did your TTC in Petra and taught the children in mission school at Ghagra for 2 years. After that, you made up your mind to join the Holy Cross congregation and met the sisters in Kolane. You joined Holy Cross Institute Hazaribagh in 1967, and after formation you were professed on December 20, 1971. Your first assignment was in St. Mary's Orphanage in Fakirana, Betia. It was rather tough for you, but Sister Josepha Maria was a great help to you. You were there for 11 years. Your next move was to Adoption Center at Delhi. There, you could not adjust with the climate and fell sick and were sent to Kunkuri for treatment and rest. Once regained health, you were sent to VTI, Sadar Hospital, Katukona and Sitagara for short duration at each community. You were happy to experience the community life and different sisters. In 1986, you were transferred to Pathalgaon to teach in primary school. Along with teaching, you helped crafts in BTI. In 1990, you were transferred to Moga. For 4 years, you taught in the pre-primary and looked after the hostel. In 1994, you made a move to Pasan to teach in Palotine School. After 1 year, you were called back to Pathalgaon for home administration and rendered your service for 4 years. Your life moved ahead as you were transferred to Kuamunda to look after the house and garden. You ministered in Kuamunda for 4 years. You strongly felt the need of spiritual revitalization and sought for a change, and you were placed in the prayer center at Kolane. There, you didn't restrict yourself only to prayer center, rather gave your service to the parish activities as well. In 2010, You were transferred to Bayathan to look after the hostel. In 2014, you went to Civil Lines, Raipur for 2 years. Your next assignment was in Bayathan to look after the house and garden. Since then, you are enthusiastically engaged there, fully active and alive, serving the people of God. The virtue of simplicity is in the core of your life. With this extraordinary virtue, you respect yourself and others. You are simple and down to earth. You are capable of enjoying and appreciating the little things. You don't have overly high expectations or ambitions. There is no giant mountain blocking your happiness. That's why the first person that benefits from simplicity is you who possess it. You know how to accept yourself and be accepted by others. You possess a large heart that accommodates everyone, young and old. While being with orphans, your motherly and compassionate heart was overwhelming undeniably. The strong and bond between you and orphan children was remarkable. You were truly a mother to them. You lived with a sense of inner elegance and are graceful even amidst challenges. Your kindness comes naturally to the people, the animals, and to the nature. As one anointed and sent to bring the good news to people in multiple ways, you are indeed a blessing to the community, province, and the congregation. Today, we rejoice for the way in which God's loving care has fearfully and wonderfully sustained.
Thank you, dear Jubilarians. We celebrate your commitment in all these ministries and more. We stand in awe and bow in reverence before our holy God, who called you into the eternal plan of being women of Holy Cross. A call to allow the seeds of God's dream seed be realized in time to be special manifestations of God's presence to the needy of this 21st century. Thank you.